Hello, my name is Alan, and my pronouns are he, him. Today, I am facilitating the second part of a two-shot of my own game in development. This is a PBTA game of Dark Age heroes confronting supernatural threats and protecting the innocent, or those that perhaps claim to be innocent. If you want to know more about, our cats, our concept aims, tone, and then anything else, then go check out the first one of this pair. We want to get on and play. I will say that this game is organized as part of the Gauntlet role-playing community's online calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, search Gauntlet-RPG and come play with us, because we love to have people come and play with us. I will remind everyone we're using a set of layered safety tools. So we are playing with lines and veils, and currently we have lines on sexual assault and violence, death, endangerment of children, infection or plague is a major plot point, suicide, and homophobia, transphobia. So those are lines that those areas will not appear in the fiction at all. If there's anything you want to add to that, folks, please do. In terms of veils may crop up in the fiction, but we will draw a discrete veil across them. We won't see them on screen. And we currently have veils on torture by the player characters, torture by non-player characters, consensual sex, domestic violence, animal abuse, gore, and eyeballs. And then we also have an ask first on betrayal between PCs or violent conflict between PCs. That's not really in keeping with the game, so I don't expect it to crop up. But if you are thinking of going rogue on another character, please check in. Two of the players, our fourth player can't be with us at the start. We're hoping he'll be able to drop in before we finish tonight, but we may just be the three players and me. But there is on the same page as those lines of veils, there is a romance in-game selection, which offers you the chance to say yes or no, tick or not tick, to romance with PCs, romance with NPCs, or just to respond that you've seen it and you don't want to make a choice. That's fine. But it looks like everyone's up for anything, so that's okay with me. Whether we'll get there in a two-shot, I don't know, but you never know your luck. So let me ask the players to introduce themselves then. So Rod, we're starting with you this time. Tell us who you are, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Thrydwulf the Storyteller.
Hi, I'm Rod. I use the pronouns he, him, and I am playing Thrydwulf the Storyteller, also he, him. And apparently his mission is to get himself out of trouble that he puts himself into. I'm curious to see what's happening, what's going to happen with him this session. And hopefully he will be he'll contribute to the welfare of the party this time. So.
Indeed, he did find himself in a hole last time and kind of continued to dig, I think it was fair to say. Okay, moving along. Will, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Walden the Arrow.
Hi, I'm Will. My pronouns are he, him, as are those of Walden the Arrow, a hunter, fabled for how he's always in the right place at the right time, but Walden knows that it's because Woden directs him on the hunt. And luckily that enables him to get a fair bit of coin on the way as well. And when last we saw Walden, he had done a bit of a recce and found something horrible about to happen on the moors.
Indeed, that's probably where we'll pick up. And then finally, Sam, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Beornoth the Hammer of the Gods.
Oh yeah, hi, my name's Sam. I use he, him pronouns, and today I'm playing as Beornoth, who is a ex-trapper. He used to be kind of a loner out in the woods living by himself, but has since been chased back into society by his dark visions that haunt him, that he calls the Curse of Gwydion, this ability to see the truth of the horrors around him.
And that last time revealed a water spirit menacing one of our supporting cast of non-player characters. But yes, so let's start where we left off last time, which was with Beornoth and Thrydwulf heading up onto the haunted moor. above the settlement of Hrothford, where Walden the Arrow has disappeared over the brow of the hill and explored a little further ahead. And Walden, my recollection is that I described what you took to be a group of hunters in the kind of valley below, where a Roman ruin, which I have now defined on the basis of what happened as a treacherous Roman ruin. Actually, I can't use treacherous because we already have treacherous in play. Let's have sinister Roman ruin down there in a valley below you. And the reason it is now christened as sinister is that as you were watching these hunters move along the valley, not noticing you at all, they disappeared behind the ruin and you assume into it. And that, I think, is where I finished by saying, and so the screaming begins. So I'm going to start with Walden. What do you do?
Walden swears and hastily. I mean, this is like what time is the day? Is it here?
I mean, I think we got to about midday because all of you spent a little bit of time during the morning talking to people, finding out a little bit more about the context. So I think it's the middle of the day. Middle of the day.
I think Walden swears, hearing the screams, and scrambles out a. Would it be possible to like scramble an arrow out, set it on fire, and fire it in the air to signal to the others where I am, or should I just leap into? Because I just don't want to cut the others out of this action. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I mean, but bear in mind you get an XP if you put yourself at risk by being the first step into the unknown. So, not for me to say.
Oh, well, I mean, I was definitely going to go in there. I just didn't want to leave the others without a fictional positioning to re-enter the scene.
I'm very happy for you to fire a flaming arrow into the air.
Yeah, you see him swear, scramble at his pack, and the next shot is that flaming arrow coming up above the horizon for the other two. And then you see Walden scrambling down there, sliding down the hill towards the
ruin.
Yeah.
And we know that you have travelled together, Beornoth, Thrydwulf, and Walden, and Howell. Howell has literally disappeared. He left the witch's hut, or maybe she's not a witch, but the outcast woman's hut, with you, Beornoth, sorry, you, Thrydwulf, and you see the arrow. You look round, and he's gone. He is a fey changeling, so who knows? But you see the arrow, you know each other well enough to know that is Walden saying, "Here I am, come quickly." What do you do, Beornoth?
Swears under his breath and just takes off running.
Thrydwulf, do you try to keep up with Beornoth, or are you just going to make best time?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely trying to. Well, I'll try to keep up, keep him in sight, and I'm glad that it's not me in trouble for once.
Okay, and so let's then cut back to Walden. As you come down, you know, you scramble down this moorland hillside, down into this valley. There's probably a little stream running beside this ruined. Maybe it's a Roman villa. Who knows? It's a ruin of some description. The roof looks fallen in. The walls are mostly intact, it must be said. So what do you do when you get down close to it, Walden?
I press up against the wall, you know, and I peer around to see if I can. Are those screams still going on?
I think yeah, there is still a scream, but I think what you're hearing now is predominantly the sound of. I'm veiling this. The audibility is gory. You can hear bodies being rent.
Bodies being rent.
Asunder.
Yeah. I'd like to carefully, I mean, once again, look around me because, you know, my next action really takes place on whether there's anybody that I could save still, you know?
Okay, so look about you. So roll plus sense.
I think I've rolled that like 5 times already. And as a reminder of the rules, I roll with steel due to my
Oh, you
skill
do. You're wily.
I have a 8, so I get 1 hold on that.
You do.
And I suppose the question I get to ask one question. I ask, is there anyone alive still?
Yes, I think it's fair to say that you will hear somebody say, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God," or gods. I technically, because that would identify them as Saxons.
Yeah, and then I swear again, because if they're all dead, I could I could wait this out and do something more sensible. But since they're alive, I knock the bow and I step round the corner, ready to fire on whatever I see before me.
Okay, you will see I would say probably 7-8 feet tall, the back of a hairy, broad creature. It's got a head facing away from you, set deep in its shoulders, shaggy shoulders. The legs are stocky and it's kind of barrel shaped, I guess. Let me leave you with that for a moment while I cut back to Beornoth and Thrydwulf. I think there's no question Beornoth is going to be quicker cross country than Thrydwulf. So I'm going to go to Beornoth and say, you come over the brow of this rise, and you look down into the valley and you see Walden. You're too far away to see him take a deep breath and step around the corner, but you see the action. What do you do, Beornoth?
I'm assuming that am I close enough to hear what's going on at that point?
I think that, yeah, you will still hear some screaming. Yeah.
Okay. I think that Beornoth is going to recognize that it's not Walden who's immediately getting murdered, which is good. But I think I'm going to trust Walden and try and find another way around, essentially, like another way in, so that we're not just all coming in through the same death trap.
I mean, we, the audience, know that there is another way in, because the people who are down there screaming went around the far side of this ruin and stepped in from that side, we assume. And Walden has found, maybe a bit of the wall has collapsed and there's a crack in the wall that he's firing into this space from. So yeah, I see you running kind of slightly at an angle away from him so you can come at it from the other side. Fine.
Exactly.
That will take a little bit longer than going straight to where Walden is, but
I trust Walden. I think he can handle himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. Thrydwulf, what about you? You see Beornoth angling off to get around the far side of this structure. What about you?
I don't think I want to go alone, so I'm going to follow Beornoth. I assume he knows what he's doing.
Stick with the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. So Walden, that's what you see. And it is literally rending one of these people into pieces.
And maybe there's like a wounded one on the floor, and then another one panicking in the thing.
Backed up against the corner, and there's one lying in a pool of blood. Yeah, that's the kind of scene you come from.
And I lock eyes with the person who's backed up against the side, and I go, "Run!" And then I fire that arrow into the back of the beast, and I yell out a yell. And my plan is I'm not really trying to hurt it so much as make it follow me.
Okay.
And my plan is to lead it back out the way that the hunters came, because that's the easiest for me to run through. And fictionally, I want to bring it past the other guys, even if I don't know that they are there, kind of thing.
So what I'm seeing is you shoot the arrow from this side. You're hoping it's going to see you. You're going to go around the side of the building, and you want it to go out through the other side of the building to get to you.
I'm kind of imagining I hit it, it turns around, I duck behind a ruined wall or something, and I vault over it as it bursts after me, and then I'm just going to be exit pursued by Man Bear.
By Man, and Man Bear, I think, is fair.
Yeah.
I think man bear is fair. Okay, that's so. I mean, if you're simply wanting to attract its attention, do you want to do it harm, or is it principally about?
I think it's. I was thinking it was mostly a case of staying ahead of it.
Face danger, then.
Face danger, yes.
Yeah. And this sounds like face danger with agility and pace.
Yes, yeah, which would be steel. Would that be right?
That would be steel.
Yes. It's strange how I keep rolling my my highest value, isn't it? Yeah. Who would have
Well,
thought?
you know.
Have we? Am I misremembering? Was a rule where you could gain advantage by owing a debt to your gods? Or something?
Right. This is worth me pointing out to everyone. Can you see on the basic moves tab, guys, that there is a help yourself move? Up there in row J, help yourself. When you say how your standing or seeming is relevant to your current action, owe your gods a debt to re-roll 1 or 2 of your dice. So it's an after roll improvement.
Okay, that's different.
So
I think from previous rules,
yeah,
right?
If this goes badly, then you know, you could always do that to improve it.
Yeah, I just mainly was trying. I want to engage some of these different moves, but not. Yeah, but okay, here we go. 11. I don't need it.
Okay, so on an 11, on a 7, or on a 7+, you do it, but the fate chooses 1. You suffer 1 harm doing it. It takes longer than you'd hoped. Respite is temporary. The risk, it is respite is temporary, then, isn't it? That it is on your tail. On 10+, say how you also gain advantage or impress a watching NPC enough for their settlement of faction to owe you a debt.
I mean, I've just saved these hunters, who I'm going to presume are from the settlement of Hrothford. You know, they may not be like the wicked hunter, but I certainly would like the settlement to owe me a debt.
Fine.
Off, you know, rescuing them.
You will find that there is a place on your character sheet to record that debt. And if you look at the debt moves, you'll be able to work out how you could spend that to your advantage now or later.
Nice.
So that's what happens. This thing leaps, crashes through the ruined bit of wall and is on your tail as you run around the other side of the building. Beornoth,
can I do like a little parkour, like hop up 2 steps, jump over it, look like really cool and be like, yeah, and then suddenly boom, straight through the wall behind me, like, oh shit.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, it's all very Legolas.
Yeah.
And until it crashes through the wall and the stairs to the steps on the outside of the building to the upstairs that is now gone. They just explode in Skinchanger Bear. So Beornoth, you see from your vantage point now on the other side of the building or the ruin, you see somebody, running just straight out. But they run past another person who is just standing about 50 yards away from the building. And that person draws a bow, and shoots the runner with an arrow. What do you do, Beornoth?
I think Beornoth is doing exactly what I'm doing, just like stops and like,
what's going on?
What's going on here?
And then weird. Walden appears around the corner of the building, pursued by Bear. Walden, you come around the corner, you see the guy who was running for it dead on the ground, and you, Thrydwulf, who's caught up with Beornoth now, all 3 of you see the person who shot that runner heading deeper into the moorland. Thrydwulf, what are you going to do with everything you're seeing at the minute?
I am going to. It looks like the most immediate threat is this monster that's chasing my companion. Does it look like a monster or a bear?
It looks like a both. Monstrous combination of the two. It is. You're a storyteller. I mean, you've actually got a move called Myths and Monsters. When you recall a relevant myth, outline it and gain advantage when you or another hero can use in relation to the supernatural. This is a
yeah.
skin changer. There is no question about that.
Oh yeah, so I will try to use the move to give someone an advantage.
Fine. What do you remember about skin changers in this story that might be significant and important at this point, or particularly a skin changer bear, werebear?
I'll say I recall a child's story that that speaks of a child lost in the woods and comes upon such a creature, and that the creature is most dangerous when it feels threatened, but is not naturally aggressive, in as long as it's fed and content.
Okay, so now you can tell Beornoth that, so you could pass that advantage to Beornoth. Walden is some distance away, so Beornoth, the message from Thrydwulf is, don't worry, it's a pussycat when it's been fed.
Yes, because we have so many ways of feeding it right now. Actually, hold on. There's another dead guy that I could go. I think Beornoth, like, what are you talking? Fine. Rushes over to the Walden is running toward. It sounds like Walden is running kind of tangent to where the assassin or archer was, and so I'm going to rush to where the other person fell and try and. I'm assuming they're dead.
Okay.
If they're obviously alive, I'm not going to do this. But if they are truly dead, I was planning on using them to kind of get in the way and distract the bear from Walden.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you're using the hopefully dead runner as bait.
That's the idea. If they're already dead, I'm going to do that. If they're not dead, I need to come up with a different plan.
Okay, how do you want to stay in check? They could be just unconscious. I just need to know if are you going to spend time on this?
He's gonna take the 2 seconds, feel for a pulse, but see if they're breathing.
Okay. So remember, you Beornoth have advantage you can use on the bear in this cunning plan. Walden, you are taking off after the archer with the bear behind you.
Yeah, because he just killed, struck down the person I'm in this mess to save. And my vague back of my head thing is that, well, they're not going to if I can pass this monster off on them.
Fine.
Then that's 2 problems with one monster, right?
Fine.
I'm wondering, when is Beornoth going to hit this bloody thing?
I think the way to play this is mechanically is Walden. I think you need to face danger because this was a temporary respite.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Beornoth's efforts would be to help you, to use the help another hero move to see whether he can buy you some time or some advantage. Yeah,
I think at some point one of us is going to have to hit this monster. And I was hoping it would be the Hammer of the Gods, but apparently the Hammer of the Gods is laying a trap instead. So,
well, I mean, he used to be a trapper, so
that's true.
Going back to type under stress. So, Walden, let us have you face danger to stay ahead of the threat, and if this goes badly or even marginally badly, then we'll have Beornoth see whether his cunning plan with a dead bait works.
I roll a 6, so it is right on my heels.
It is,
and I won't invoke a death just to allow the other players to do something.
Okay. So Beornoth, after the roll with the attributes of fate degrees is most relevant. I think this is about steel. I think this is about you're literally trying to pick up this body and if not throw it in the way of the bear, then certainly kind of attract the bear to it. Is that fair?
Yeah, the image I had was like just like distract it by almost hitting it with this
Okay.
this body.
Let's see how this goes then. So
right.
roll. You're rolling with
2d6.
advantage. So you're rolling. So you can either re-roll the lowest dice or roll 3d6 and choose the top two. Because Thrydwulf has told you how this should work.
Okay, yeah, that's a 12. The highest two are a 4 and a 6 plus 2.
Okay, so my goodness me. So that is fine. On 10 plus, the outcome improves by 1 step, not just +1, which unfortunately this concept is the same thing, but it's the thought that counts. So you have rolled 7 plus. You do it, but the fate chooses. You suffer 1 harm doing it, trying to escape Walden. It takes longer than you'd hope. Respite is temporary. There is some other consequence. I think I'm going to inflict some harm on you. As I think you're just, you are running flat out, and I don't think this is a wound. I think this is mark wearied, but it is now on you. Thrydwulf, this thing was distracted momentarily by Beornoth's bait, but Walden or somebody is going to have to confront it soon, or it's going to tear Walden's head off is the risk. What are you going to do, Thrydwulf?
So how is it reacting to this body that just got hit?
It was distracted by it,
Distracted.
but enough to stop it confronting Walden right now, but it is going to confront Walden next time.
Can I just can I use a 10 to me as to get its focus out off Walden?
I'm very happy for you to try. I think I'm going to make you roll at disadvantage.
All right.
Because it just strikes me that an enraged werebear is not necessarily going to respond the same way a person would. So let's have you roll 3d6 and take the bottom 2 plus subtle.
Plus subtle. All right.
Will you look at that?
Nice.
2 5s and a 6. So that's another 13. The attention you draw is so rapt that whoever acts does so with advantage. So, is this a song? Is this just a shout? What is it that, because this werebear is going to stop in its tracks and go.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the bear and the maiden fair.
Fine.
Kind of tune, something completely ridiculous.
I like that, and yeah, it kind of stops, and its attention is entirely on Thrydwulf. Walden, you are closest to it, so I'm going to ask you if you want to act first, or whether you want to back off to bow range for all I know. But what do you want to do?
I mean, this assassin is getting away. Sorry, I'm a bit confused by the sequence of events because I wasn't expecting the throw the dead body at it maneuver. I thought Beornoth was just going to hit it, but instead we're now. So where's the bear at the moment?
The bear is literally, a pace and a half behind you, and is going to fight you. Is going to kind of attack you in a moment unless you confront it first or run away.
The other option, yeah, if you wanted to run after the person my plan was to engage with it at this point, now that it's been distracted and it's not immediately going to maul you.
I feel like I'm immediately going to get mauled. I don't want to do another face danger roll.
Oh, you don't. You don't have to. You have freedom of action here. Its attention is on Thrydwulf.
Can we? I'd like to see Beornoth attack it. Save me from the bear. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the floor, and as he attacks it, I just scramble up and then set off without even a word of thanks after the assassin.
Fine. So you Thrydwulf, you Beornoth are going to attack it, confront them with advantage. So let's have you roll that move. So I can't see that this is going to be anything but steel. I have to say, unless you're going to be very subtle with it. Okay, so you are rolling 3d6, taking the top 2 and adding steel for confront them. Now, I will tell you that it has 2 defenses. Its defenses are tough hide and a high pain threshold. You will not be able to end this creature until you overcome both those defenses. Okay? So, oh my, that's not a tremendous set of dice, is it?
Not a tremendous set of dice, but it is a 9, sorry, an 8 total.
It
1 and a
is.
5 plus 2.
Okay, so on 7+, I will erase, I think I will erase tough hide right now. So tell me how your attack on it renders its hide somehow less effective.
So we're on these moors, correct? I think that I'm not even going for like cutting anything. It's just blunt force. Like I'm gonna tackle this thing down the side of this moor. We're just, the 2 of us are just gonna be tumbling head over heels down this hill away from Walden and back kind of towards where the ruins are. And I think it like slams into the side of the ruins.
Fine, and maybe you see it hits the old Roman brick, and maybe a shard of brick just you see it tear into the flesh of this thing. So I've erased tough hide. So on a 7+, I then choose. I am going to use one of its powers, and I'm going to have it regenerate, which recovers tough hide each time it is declared. So as you think, yes, you stand up and face off on this thing, and you see the rent in its arm, in its flesh, just knit before your very eyes. Cut to Thrydwulf seeing this happen. Thrydwulf, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I see them tumbling down, and I'm gonna pursue them. I don't know if Beornoth can take this thing by himself. Maybe he can, but
well, this might help you, because Beornoth, the bit I didn't read was when you try to overcome someone's or something's defenses, say what you did, roll. Fates erases. Oh no, sorry, I take it back. No, I altered the rule. I forgot I'd altered the rule. Ignore me. Thrydwulf, I'm sorry for the interruption.
no, that's fine. Is there anything is there a move I can do to, I don't know, somehow
What
aid?
you tell me what you want to do, and we'll worry about the mechanics later.
Okay, let's see. I think I'm just gonna see if there's some sort of weakness.
Look about you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see if it's
Yeah.
like maybe
Because that would allow me to tell you if it does have a weakness. So let's have you look about you, which is roll with sense.
oh no. That sense. Right.
Oh no,
6.
indeed. That is a 6. Okay, so on a 6, its attention is still on Thrydwulf after that rapt attention, and then Beornoth hit it, and you see its eyes come up with that slightly bloodshot red, and it begins to bound up the hillside towards Thrydwulf. I think that puts you in enough difficulties. Walden, you said you scrambled to your feet and take off after the assassin.
Yes, because I tried to save that guy, and they killed him. So who's the real monster here?
Okay. Yeah, so they're up there on the moor. I'm going to let you run after them. I'm not going to make you roll the move now. I just want to put a bit of distance between you and the rest of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So you are heading off.
Ooh, I tell you what.
Go on then.
What I would like to do is, they've got a lead on me, right? And we're on the moors and everything. What I do is that I know that the only way to track down a quarry this fast is to head it off at the pass. Now, it'd be hard to know which way, but Woden guides my steps. So I would like to, oh my god's a debt, and call in True Path, because he shows me the way to the thing, if that works as a thing.
That certainly works. So, oh,
Yeah.
Woden a debt, and then roll plus soul.
Yeah, we have such a great soul as well. I think I got -1 in soul, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, -1 in soul. Yeah, there we go. Ah, it's a 3. Okay.
And you do indeed head off, because you think, right, there's this stream. They're heading that way. It'll be quicker if I follow the stream, because I won't have to go uphill, but this stream will go round that head, and I can catch them on the other side. And that's what you do.
Can I double up and say help myself and say how my standing is relevant to my current action? Because then I can roll 2 depths to Woden.
You can.
And because I am a hunter, so that means I can re-roll.
Absolutely, one or both of those die.
I mean, I rolled
a pair of 2s.
A pair of 2s, so both of those die, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
The pair of 2s becomes a 1 and a 5.
Still better, but still terrible. There we go. All right. Well, never mind. Pointless.
So I think we're going to discover, the audience already knows that when this assassin gets to the top of that low rise, instead of going down the other side where you are, it takes off in an entirely different direction.
Mm-hmm.
But
and there's just a raven cawing, a pair of ravens cawing, and I'm like
on a bush, and one of them kind of goes in the way that ravens do. So Thrydwulf, this thing is running up the hill towards you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I was running down. Now I'm running up.
Okay, running away from it. Beornoth, it's ignoring you and it's running after Thrydwulf. What are you going to do?
Look at me, you stupid oaf. I'm gonna try and get its attention somehow. I'm not a huge fan of this regenerating thing. Probably yeah, no. I think that I'm going to take my bow and try and shoot it in the side of its head, just to like get it to like, hey, look at me, I can hurt you. I am using my playbook move.
I know your picture has a bow, but the bow is not an option.
That's true. That is
for
correct.
The hammer.
No, then I'll just throw my axe at it.
Obviously, yeah, fine. Okay, yeah. So let's have you do that.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna take this hand axe and just huck it at its head. I am using the playbook move that not again. When you confront them with the intention of protecting someone, say how it reminds you of your own loss and pain, and then owe your gods a debt to treat it as an automatic 10+.
Oh, well, I mean, how could we not do that then? So, okay, but you must choose either, something that puts you at disadvantage compared to them. So that's fine. So, your god a debt. They're mounting up, aren't they?
Yep.
And on a 10+, well, we do the 7+. So do you want to erase tough hide or high pain threshold? Which defense do you want to take out?
I think that this axe is the reason I use it is that it is particularly painful for supernatural things.
It's always worked before.
It's always worked before. And I think I want to, because it says to describe, remind you of your own loss and pain.
Yeah.
I think there was a time like when I was by myself in the woods and I'm just like stumbling blindly, and I have this other like it's just like a wood cutting axe. It's just like a hatchet essentially. And you see me throw it behind me wildly, and it just passes right through whatever shadow is chasing me, and it continues after me, and I'm terrified.
Fine. You get your wish. I've erased high pain threshold. It doesn't invoke a power. Instead, it inflicts harm as established on you. It turns round and inflicts 3 harm on you.
That tracks.
And the way the harm track works is you start top. Yeah, exactly. No, you go vertically down and fill each column. So 3 will take you to the first dying box.
Okay.
Yeah. So these great clawed hands. One of them just rips round, and it's got longer arms than it ought to have for its build, and it just scrapes across the front of you. Now, I will remind you that you have another move called Scavenger.
Piece of it to protect you.
So
does that have a mechanical?
Sorry, yeah, it's badly phrased. I've just realized how badly phrased. You can ignore that damage if you sacrifice that scavenged armor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is, the claw comes across. It would have taken a piece of your ribcage away conceivably, but instead it just catches on this scavenged armor and rips it away into pieces.
Yeah, and I think I'm imagining his armor being mostly like furs and skins, and so I think it is literally like the claws are get caught in this like ram's head that I have as like a pauldron, and it gets caught in the claws, and like it's this big, massive like bighorn sheep type pauldron, and it just gets ripped off, and I go spinning, but I'm not sliced to ribbons.
You're not, so you can erase all of that harm. But that's a kind of once until you repair that armor. So but it worked. It worked. Thrydwulf, Beornoth has distracted it. What are you going to do?
So I get a sense that I have the higher ground.
Yes.
Is there maybe like some good sized rocks that I could just kind of roll down, maybe cause a small?
I'm very happy for you to try to face danger, or to look about you and create that fiction. Which would you prefer? That would be face danger with steel, or look about you with sense.
Ooh, not great choices. Right. I will try to I'll use steel to try to face danger.
So there are some rocks here. It's just, can you get them moving?
Right. I cannot.
You cannot. No. In fact, would you take 1 harm as you strain yourself against this boulder? It's just a lot deeper in the soil than you anticipated. So you actually take some harm from that. Walden, I'm going to come to you in a moment when you realize that you've lost them. But for now, I want to cut back to Beornoth. What are you going to do?
Beornoth is like steadied himself. This giant shape-changing bear with an axe sticking half out of its skull is walking towards him. And like I have this imagery in my head of like the skin trying to heal itself over the axe, but the axe is still there and it won't let it. And so I think that I'm gonna try, and I saw it like barge through the walls before, and I think I want to try and trick it into doing that again with the axe still in its head and try and like
do some more harm.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds like either look about you to create that bit of fiction with success,
Yeah.
because agree a
Like,
detail
I'm
to add to the
looking
scene. Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Looking around, trying to find a way out of this, because I think I'm kind of cornered between it and this giant wall.
Fine. Let's have you roll to look about you with sense then.
It's with sense. So there's +1. That's snake eyes.
Oh my.
Oof.
You think, yeah, I'll get around that corner, and this long arm kind of just reaches out behind you and throws you against the wall. And this time you are going to take those 3 points of harm, as it just flings you against this wall. And I think, Walden, that is when you will realize that you've lost your assassin, and make your way back along this stream and see this scene probably 100 yards away. What do you do?
What I do is, I mean, digging a pit is probably going to take too long.
Well, no, I mean that's the name of the move. It doesn't.
No, I know.
Every trap involves a pit.
I know. I'm trying to think of traps without going for like claymores and stuff. You know what I mean? Like trying to get my head into how would I make a trap on a moorland. What I would like to do is I would like to quickly look about me. For the treacherous bogs that surround this stream that I am in, that I'm up, so I can try and lure it towards that. So
okay, let's have
that would require a look about me, right? Yeah.
Roll with sense.
That's a 9.
Thank goodness for that. It was beginning to look like a bit of a downward spiral here. So,
well, I'm nearly leveled up if I'm marking experience, in real time, like you said to do.
Do remember, guys, those failures mark XP. So on a 7+, either ask me a question, or reveal a weakness, or agree with the fates, a detail to add to the scene. I think I know where you're going.
I could use it to reveal a foe's weakness, couldn't I? But I definitely want to use the trap move. So I definitely want to use it to be like, here are these warrens of I know it's like the rabbit holes, and so that I know that there is a warren under here. I can see where the water here is on the stream due to heavy rain recently has flooded them. So anything sufficiently heavy that just came plowing through would easily go into it. Yeah.
Okay. So that gives you the fictional positioning to use the move.
Yes. And I'm gonna like yell out like at the top, like wait, and probably a little bit of a distance away, right? But I'm trying to get their attention to come this way, lead it this way.
Yeah. So Thrydwulf, that boulder's not going to move. That ship has sailed. But Walden is saying, lead it to me. What are you going to do, Thrydwulf?
Oh, I will start singing again at the top of my lungs and make a beeline towards Walden.
Given you rolled so well to get its attention last time, I think that it'll hear that song, and though it's kind of tempted to finish off Beornoth, although that's the way it feels about it, I think it looks over its shoulder, and as you eyes meet, you start running towards Walden, and it starts running after you. I think that's too cool not to happen, allowing Beornoth to kind of just use the wall as support to clamber to his feet. So Thrydwulf is running towards you. I think that is going to require face danger with steel just to get there before it closes with you.
So I did get 5. I hit the 5 XP mark. I don't know how that translates.
Fine. If you go down to the bottom of the sheet, down there on row 70, and if you look down there, you'll see a list of possible improvements.
Okay.
So is there something that you like the look of? And of course, one of those is the option for a new storyteller move.
Right. Let me do a quick look at the storyteller moves and see if one, prefer not to think of it, but people and places, gods, gods, insert a story, it's monsters, heroes, and battles. Right. I think I'll take the one that I had initially looked at, which was peoples and places. When you
Okay,
recall a relevant tale in relation to the mundane world, outline it and gain advantage that can be passed to another hero.
fine. So you've used the new storyteller move improvement, yeah?
Yes.
Fine, fine. So let's have you roll to face danger to get there first.
Right. All right. No. Yes, 9.
I've just noticed you nicely typed in run away 9.
Yes.
On a 9+, you do it, but the fate chooses 1. You suffer 1. No, I think this is respite is temporary, so it is pursuing you. This is too cool not to happen. But you are going to get to Walden and past his bit of boggy ground before it. Beornoth, it's ignoring you. It's chasing Thrydwulf towards Walden. What are you going to do?
I can tell that they have a plan here, so I think that Beornoth is going to try and get himself into a position. Like, it's not, if it's ignoring me, I just took a big hit. I'm gonna like catch my breath for a second, try and maneuver myself so that when it falls into whatever trap I'm sure Walden has planned, I know him, that I'll be ready to jump
Exploit
on
it.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Exploit
fine.
it, yeah.
Yeah, fine.
So I think this is going to be like potentially whatever Walden ends up doing, I'll help him.
Fine. So Walden, when you say that the trap you had fictional positioning to have planned is triggered, roll plus sense. So let's do it as the move says. Let's have you roll plus sense.
Okay, which is a 0 for me. That's an 8. Whew. I hold 1.
You do. So the way that the sheet's meant to do that is that then you put a tick in one of those little boxes.
I see.
Yeah?
Nice.
When it is triggered, say how it works and how a similar trap put you in danger on a previous occasion. Spend each hole to roll with advantage or pass it to another hero against whatever you have trapped. If any of those rolls are 6-, miss, the risk you describe will come to pass.
I think how this works is it's fairly straightforward. The creature runs into it and becomes mired in the mud. Its greater weight plunging it down into these marshy bogs and its hunger. The similar trap that puts me in danger on a previous occasion is when I missed the safe path through it, and I also became mired in the mud, and it became a very slow chase as I scrambled out of the mud, and it scrambled after me.
Okay. Now the nice thing about this is that whoever you, if you use the advantage to do whatever you do next, whoever uses that advantage, if they roll a 6, it's they who get mired in the mud. So Beornoth, you see this thing bounding after long strides, or it's just like a juggernaut in pursuit of Thrydwulf. And Thrydwulf, this slight young man, kind of dances through the terrain towards Walden, followed by the creature, who kind of goes to, and immediately one of its legs kind of goes in up to the knee, and then it takes another step, and that one gets mired. So it is mired in this trap. So Beornoth, if you choose to exploit that, you will be rolling with advantage to confront it, or to do anything else for that matter.
Yeah, no, I think that is the situation that I was waiting for. I'm gonna try, and if it is like gotten down, I'm gonna try and like get up right next to its head, and well, we'll see how well this works. But I'm essentially like jumping onto its back and gonna hit it like that.
Wrench the axe
wrench the axe out
of
and
the
then
flesh
hit it
where it's
again, or yeah, something like
that. Go for it. Okay. So so you're rolling with advantage. So 3 dice, take the top 2, plus steel, it sounds like to me.
that is a total of 8.
8.
3 plus 3 plus 2.
Now, there is the help another hero, or there is help yourself. If you think it is worthwhile, because currently what your best 2 there are a pair of 3s, plus 2 gets you to 9. So sorry, 6 and 8. So if you wanted to owe your god a debt to invoke your standing as a hammer of the gods, you could re-roll 1 or 2 of those dice. I'm just, if you wanted to angle towards a 10 plus is all I'm saying.
I think a 7 to 9 is fine here.
Okay. So
I don't think that we're done. I think this is a good.
Okay. On 7 plus, the fate erases the defense you attacked. So the remaining defense is tough hide. I'm erasing that. And your foe chooses 1. I am going to have them use that regenerate power again to get that tough hide back. This is going to be a very difficult beast. Thrydwulf, I see you behind Walden with your hands on your thighs, breathing heavily. But Walden, that is that advantage used up on the move. So I'll unmark that. It's going to get free after this round of activity. So Walden, is there anything you want to do?
I would like to confront them.
Oh, right. Okay. With your bow from a distance?
Yeah, why not? I think while it's staggered in the dirt, in the mud, is as good a point as any.
The advantage has gone to Beornoth, and I think the fact that Beornoth is engaged up close and personal with it is why it's not a particularly easy target. So yeah, by all means, that sounds like roll with steel, to be honest.
That's a 10.
Oh, a 10. So on 7 plus, I erase tough hide again as your arrow pierces its tough hide. And I will choose 1. I think I'm going to take the opportunity to flee. I'm going to have it pull itself out of the mire, cast Beornoth to one side, and flee up the hillside away from you, because I just fancy the idea of a recurring nemesis. But on a 10 plus, you also describe how you choose 1.
I think that what I would like to do is to force them to where I gain advantage. But what that means is that it's now leaving big muddy footprints across the moors as it storms off away from us. So we will have advantage of tracking it down or anything like that.
I think that's a very cool bit of fiction. We'll go with that. And I've just noticed that it is 6 minutes past the hour. I suggest taking our first break here with the creature disappearing up the hillside. Shall we say back at 1/4 past the hour? Is that okay? Fine. See you then. Okay, so we come back from our commercial break to discover our heroes trekking across this haunted moorland as it probably begins to move towards dusk, the way it does on those occasions when you're on a haunted moorland. And I think I told you before, Walden, that in the distance you could see that tor, that kind of that rock just uplifted through the in the heart of the moorland in the distance, and that is the direction you're going in. You are tracking this creature in that direction.
All the hunters back in the ruins are dead, I assume.
I think if you go back and check, yes.
Okay, yeah, because that definitely would have been my first thought, and then I think maybe we would have just, shake ahead and then pan towards those muddy footprints.
No, that's that's nice. That's a much nicer start than mine. So you know, you have advantage to track it if you want it. I'm going to let you follow it for a while because actually I want to move to our location move again. Each time you approach, enter, or traverse on this occasion location, the hero taking the lead describes the approach they take and rolls with the attribute that I think makes most sense. So I think that this is tracking it without it realizing that it's being tracked. Yeah, which strikes me as being. Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did want to do one thing before we
yeah,
do.
sorry.
And I think I have a healing, my gift of healing
You
to try
do.
to help Beornoth.
Your God gave you the gift of pain's balm. So owe your God a debt and roll plus soul, Thrydwulf.
A 7.
Ooh, close, but it works. What it says is when you invoke your gift on a 7 to 9, you succeed, but the fates chooses one from you attract unwelcome attention. Your gift has a broader effect than you had desired. Your gift takes more from you than you had expected. Do you want to be at disadvantage for the next period of time, or do you want to actually take some of the harm into yourself?
I think I'll I'll take harm.
Okay.
I'll take some of the harm. Yeah.
Okay, so you mark wounded, that first wounded box on your track.
I was already wounded. Oh, wounded. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But what the effect of that move is, it clears dying or erases 2 condition. So Beornoth, I think it's only fair I give you the option. Do you want to clear that dying checkbox, or do you want to remove the other 2?
This thing does 3, right?
Yes.
I think I'm going to clear the other 2.
Okay.
Because then at the end of that, I will only have 1 dying checkbox versus the, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. In a way that I don't think I'd envisage, but it absolutely makes sense. So then, yes, so Walden, you are making your way towards the Tor. So I think I'm going to use the Tors, which, how did we described it? The windswept Tor. So the location moves for a Tor. There they are, I see, and windswept. Disadvantage to make progress, advantage to lay low on as you approach the windswept Tor. But let's have you roll. I think this is your native cunning. I think this is subtle.
Which I have a 1 in, I think, right? Or a 0? 1. I have a 1 in.
You could use steal, but roll the disadvantage if you wanted to.
No, I think mathematically that works out as much worse. That's an 11.
Wow, look at this. So on an 11, this goes pretty well. So again, 10 plus, choose 2 and accept the loss of or consequence of whatever you didn't choose. So do you want a helpful opportunity, a potential benefit, or do you want to avoid a risk?
I want to avoid a risk and get a potential benefit. I think its reputation.
Okay, so yeah, you can use its reputation to your advantage. Maybe not literally with advantage, but you can leverage that fictionally.
I mean, maybe can I like this this Tor, right? Is and a Tor is like a stone.
It's an upthrust of rock, yeah.
Yeah. Often known to to protect travelers from dangerous spirits and weird dark forces of darkness, you know, put up against, in some ways, much like the warriors themselves, barriers against the dark, you know, symbols against the darkness kind of thing.
Well, well then, I mean, that sounds like you prefer a helpful opportunity, which is something that protects.
Yeah, I suppose then, yeah, it's that one. Yeah, because I just was trying to work out how would its reputation work, even, you know what I mean?
The way I'd imagined it was that then if you encountered someone, you could frighten them by telling them of the Tor, or use it to encourage them to do something.
I know this actually now, it's completely the opposite of what I just said, but it just occurs to me, what about if I say that this reputation is much worse? And in fact, it's not something that protects, but this is in fact a desecrated Tor, one that maybe offer us some sort of insight into this foul skin changer, you know, because it has been used for whatever rights or nature.
Okay.
If that works, like...
Okay. I'm prepared to go with that. So let's have you approach the Tor, and I think that it has markings scratched into its surface, wind eroded and blurred by time, but the mere sight of them, Walden, gives you that quiver that these are perverse and perverted. This is not a good place. It is cursed in some way. Thrydwulf, this seems like it might be your wheelhouse. Weird stuff on the side of rocks.
I will I'll try to use the myths and monsters move.
Okay, so myths and monsters again.
Yes.
Recall a relevant myth, outline it, and gain advantage. I'm beginning to think there's a lot of cognitive load on the storyteller here. I must think twice about this.
Oh, right. Huh.
I mean, it need to be a specific. It can just be around the nature of the carvings.
Right. So I've seen these carvings before, and they are not on a tour, but maybe on a cairn, and they actually mark the burial place of something that was tainted or evil, and they're kind of warning people away.
Well, that seems to me to be setting you up to look about you with advantage.
Cool. All right. And that's
That's
sense.
3d6. Take the top two and add sense. Indeed.
Okay.
8, 9. No, I can't remember what your sense is.
Oh, it's a -1, so it's a 7 total.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So on a 7, either ask me a question about the place, anything here. There's some example bullet points. I don't think weaknesses apply, or agree with the fates of detail to add to the scene that enriches the fiction, or ask them to do so. What do you want? For instance, you could tell me what these markings mean, or what they signal, if you wanted to.
Let's see. How do you feel about?
I mean, it could make what you said earlier a reality. There is something evil buried here.
Okay. Sure. That's if that works for you. Yeah.
I'm open to offers always.
Okay.
So fine. There is something evil, cursed, whatever, buried here. as the sun begins to sink over there. Beornoth, what do we see you doing as you arrive at the tor behind Walden and Thrydwulf tracing his fingers over these carvings and shaking his head? I have a bad feeling about this, says Thrydwulf.
I think Beornoth, he's lost his armor. He's bandaged and like the skin is healed, but he's still like coughing up a little bit of blood. And he is pointedly looking away from these runes and writings, like almost like the word is escaping me right now, but like a superstitious, like not like if I can't look at it, we need to just move on. Like I know that this can probably help us, but I can't look at them. We need to, and you guys can see that he is like visibly afraid of the signs and sigils.
Walden, what about you? You brought them here following the trail.
Well, the trail often leads to dark places. That's the business that we're in. I follow the trail onwards, and I look at the others to say, we must.
That's the weird thing. The trail comes to the tor, but it doesn't leave the tor. Beornoth, you weren't looking at the tor, whereas the other two, their attention's been on that. You're looking back on the moorland, perhaps the way you've come, and that I think is where you see. It looks like a figure walking towards you in the dusk, in the dim light of dusk. What do you do, Beornoth?
I'm gonna square myself up, heft the axe in one hand, and say, "Stop! We know what horrors haunt this moor. Are you one of them?"
And almost as if in answer to that, as the sun continues to sink and just that very low light cutting across the moorland illuminates this patch of moorland ahead of you, and you notice that it casts no shadow and is in fact vaguely translucent.
Thrydwulf.
Thrydwulf, Beornoth draws your attention, points 50, 100 paces away to this figure approaching in the light of the setting sun.
How far is it? Is it too far to make out features?
I think I can tell you that it is. It seemed to be a man, to Beornoth, and I think I can confirm to you as it can. And the strange thing is that though it appears to be walking towards you, it's not disturbing the grass and heather of the moorland.
It's a spirit.
A spirit, Walden, says Thrydwulf.
And I call out to it, Spirit, what is your purpose upon these moors?
You want to ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Look about you.
Okay.
Let's see if it answers.
That is a 9.
Okay, so you ask it. Ask a question about someone or something in the scene, I think.
Yeah.
Or do you want, what do you think might have happened, or what you think might happen next? As these are exemplars. They are simply meant to cast the net wide.
they're very wide questions anyways, I think, so they work pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I asked a question about this spirit. I suppose I'm stumbling a bit on what you think might happen next as well. Like, what is its intentions, its purpose? What can I, what can be found out about its spirit?
It is approaching in a car. It's not rushing at you. It's approaching in a calm, measured way. I think your judgment, Walden, is that it is not immediately intent on doing you harm.
I mean, perhaps this is, like, I put a hand out to the other two and I say, I'm not sure it even knows we are here. We should observe it and see what it does as it reaches the Tor, and watch it, let it approach us, basically.
Beornoth, tempted to do that?
Not one to rush into a fight with a ghost.
Thrydwulf, do you also kind of just back away and observe, see if it continues to move towards you, or whether in fact it is intent on the Tor?
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking. Like, let us move to the side and see if it changes its course to follow us.
And I think it approaches the Tor and lays its ghostly hands on these carvings and seems to trace the carvings and then disappears into the Tor.
The trail goes cold and the spirits have no answers for us. I cannot read the markings upon the Tor. Perhaps we should pay.
Blow it.
Do what? Sorry.
And Beornoth, like, is going to like try and walk at the wall, I guess. Like, he's not very smart, but it like can we like, there must be something there. Can we go after it?
Is this is he invoking his sight here to see that which cannot be seen?
I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. I'd love the idea of just like him stumbling into this almost.
Pay your god a debt, owe your god a debt, and roll with soul, Beornoth, as you approach this, to see whether your instincts or the instincts your god provides you lead you somewhere.
My soul is 0. That is a 4.
You walk straight into it, mark XP. It appears that is not something that your gods want you to do right now.
Walden exchanges a look with Thrydwulf behind Beornoth's back as he rubs his head. Right.
One of you do something. I don't see either of you trying anything.
Nothing as productive as that, Beornoth. No, but perhaps we should return to Hrothford. They have lost their hunters. There is danger stalking these hills. We have seen a beast, a monster, and a ghost. I mean, that ghost. What did it look like?
It looked like a
Silhouette.
a young man.
A young man.
I would describe dressed well, dressed richly is too strong, but dressed as someone with resources would be dressed.
Yeah.
And I think you will probably manage to pick out some distinguishing feature if you're thinking that you want to try and work out who this might have been.
Yeah. Maybe
Fine.
like wearing a clasp of a certain thing on his cloak, like
Yeah.
A wolf's head clasp or something,
Fine.
So my Walden's idea is to return to Hrothford. We can ask the witch about the Tor and what the darkness is in there. at the very least, I can hit up the Lord for some coin, perhaps to say that there is a dangerous beast out there. He has slain your men, and yeah, follow up in town basically.
Do you take the bodies back, or do you take a body back as evidence of what's happened, or I'm just curious what you're going to present the Lord with?
I think in an ideal world, Walden would want to take all of the bodies back to give them a proper burial. But I think instead, he will.
It's getting dark.
It's getting dark, and what he will do is he's going to take the arrow from the back of the dead man.
Oh, right, yeah, fair enough.
And he's going to study that fletching as he tells Beornoth, ask Beornoth if he would please carry, probably the smallest amount of remains to carry back is the one that was being dismembered by the beast, and it's also the one that will prove that there is a beast, because no man could do such that harm.
Fine. Just as evidence of your story. So yeah, I cut to the Lord's Hall after dark. It is the end of that evening meal. Not as raucous as the night before, perhaps, because there were, no visitors. You've gone off onto the moor and looks like you haven't come back. And then the door burst open and Beornoth throws these remains onto the ground before the Lord. And there are gasps around the room. Thrydwulf, what do you do with that kind of as it's around the room? Or nothing at all, just observe what happens? I don't know, you tell me.
I mean, I think before we came in, we would have discussed that probably he's the best talker among us.
Yeah, he's not the most observant of souls.
This is our chance to get some coin to convince the Lord that there is danger, that his people are at risk. And they will render us their aid, and will they render us their payment when we have captured this beast? Yes.
If you wish, Walden.
Thrydwulf, the doors burst open. The corpse is on the ground. You step into what would be limelight in any other. The moonlight strikes you as you step into the hall. What do you do with this?
We return from the moors, where we have encountered great beasts, both man and bear, and worse than either. This is his handiwork.
Attend to me. Roll with subtle.
A 6. Can someone help me?
No, I tell you what I'm going to do. Roll another d6, because that body, those remains should have given you advantage for that. There's no question. Roll another d6.
Okay.
And we'll take that 3. I mean, surely not another one. At 4, there we are. 6 and 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. The attention you draw is so rapt that whoever acts does so with advantage. So everyone's, you tell the story, you spill the beans about this, you tell them what you've seen, what happened. The entire hall is holding its breath as you tell your story. Does Beornoth or Walden act, or do you act, Thrydwulf? I'll come to you first. Do you act, Thrydwulf, to take advantage of all this attention?
I think I'll leave off with the ghost coming into the cairn, but I will leave off. I will let Walden make his pitch.
Okay, so what do we see Walden or Beornoth doing? Beornoth, you threw this on the ground. Is there anything you want to do with the advantage that Thrydwulf has created, or do you want to hand that off to Walden?
I think Beornoth is observing at this point. I want Walden to have the advantage on like calling to action here, but I'm looking around to try and see like where are are all the big players here? Is it like is somebody conspicuously missing, or
let's have you roll to look about you. Roll plus sense.
yeah, who doesn't look surprised? That's a good one. Roll plus sense. That's plus
Remember,
1.
you're rolling 3d6 because you don't need it when you roll a 6 and a 5. You re-roll a 5 and get a 6 just to rub my nose in it. So on a 7+, ask me some questions or agree a detail that you want to add to the fiction. And on a 10+, roll it with advantage if you act on whatever we end up getting out of this.
Yeah, I think that I love the idea that there is somebody who's like conspicuously not here.
Okay.
I'm just looking at our settlement.
Yeah.
To see.
I got an idea for who isn't here.
Go for it.
I think that Garwin the Wicked Hunter is not here. Though you would expect them to be sharing, because clearly there is some fresh game that has been served, and you would expect the Lord, out of respect for the hunter, to have invited them to join and consume some of what they had hunted. And yet Garwin is not here. Okay.
And yeah, and maybe we remember them from the night before having some like place of honor at this big feast that they were having the night before. And it's weird that this person who was so highly revered that just the previous day would not be in attendance.
Fine. So Walden, that advantage is still available from the rapt attention of the hall if you wanted to do anything with it.
And I think, as Thrydwulf tells his story, like with a beat of waiting, you can hear like the whispers, like, how will we be safe? How will we, do we be ripped from limb? And Walden's going to stride forward and say, but you are lucky, for the fates have brought you hunters of such things. And here, my lord, we offer our services. We could not save your men. We will hunt this beast and save Hrothford from its wrath.
And Beornoth says, how will you do this? This is a fell beast, and following upon the evil omen of my son's spirit being seen upon the moorland. We must secure the doors, secure the hall. Call everyone here.
Aye, my lord. But we know we have killed many beasts of all kinds, walking on 2 legs, on 4 legs, and 2. And as I say on 2, I pull out the arrow.
Oh,
and I say, it had an accomplice, a fine shot, with a fine craftsmanship of their arrows. Do any of you recognize this?
That seems to me to be a look about me.
Yeah, a look about, or convince them to.
I think I'd rather have a look about you, because you are asking a question, aren't you?
Sure, yeah. That's a 12.
Difficult to face that one down.
I didn't even need the advantage.
You didn't even need the advantage. So ask me a question or tell me a truth. Do you want to tell us who this puts in the crosshairs and who tells you? Or do you want me to do it?
I think that without before anyone can say anything at all, I think that Osbert, the naive heir, goes like, Garwin's arrows.
It is Garwin's arrow, indeed. And Beornoth says, Garwin? But surely she She went with the hunters. Did you not find her body?
Fear she was hunting her friends rather than any beast.
To arms, people, says Eotenweard. We must hunt this fell beast. Bring torches.
No, my lord, no. Such a beast will only hide if it is faced with the noise of an entire village, and you may lose. It will pick off your people one by one.
Then what are we to do?
Hold bar your doors, keep your people safe. I promise you, we will destroy this evil.
Very good. And clearly he expects you to go out into the night.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, I'm totally.
Thrydwulf?
Can we see the quarters of Garwin?
She has a cottage in the village, and certainly one of his retainers, one of his warriors, will escort you to Garwin's. Yes, he'll send 2 of his retainers with you. If Garwin is there, bring her to me.
Can it be Osbert as well?
And Osbert as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Son, it is time that you began to take a lead.
Pale.
So Osbert and the 2 warriors go with you, and they take you to the.
Oh, wait, there's one thing we didn't ask. If anyone recognized the spirit.
That's true.
We described
That's
him.
true. I'm going to tell you that it's the elder son.
Okay.
Yeah.
That may have been why I wanted Osbert to come with me.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No. That's just to give the fictional positioning for one.
Yeah, you don't need to roll a dice on that. You describe what you've seen, and Osbert will say, but that clasp, it was what my brother was wearing when he left the village. Cut to the cottage of Garwin the Hunter. Thrydwulf, you brought us here. What was your interest?
I was just curious if there's anything here that might indicate why she would ally herself to a monster.
Thrydwulf, why don't you roll to look about you?
I will ask my companions as well to help look around.
While he's doing that, I think there's just Beornoth in the back. He's got a hen that he picked up from the hall and a mug of ale, and the body is like not there. He didn't bring it.
I find nothing.
Worse than that, you find what you were afraid you would find.
Oh, okay.
You find something moving in the shadows at the back of the hut. We'll take our next commercial break there. Shall we say back on the hour? I'll see you then. So yes, something moves in the shadows at the back of the hut, Thrydwulf. What do you do?
I could see him like bending down when he was looking for clues, and then so he'll suddenly stand up. He does have a staff, so he'll put it kind of outward, and he'll alert his companions if they haven't been alerted already. And I will poke in that area.
What do you do when it grabs the staff and pulls you violently towards it? Let's have you roll to confront them, Thrydwulf.
Confront, okay. And that would be steal, I guess?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm struggling to see anything else that applies in the current setup.
Right, okay, let's see.
And we're all hoping it's, oh, look at that, Thrydwulf rolls a 10. Will you look at that?
I think it's more just like my surprise as they yank back with everything.
So I will tell you that whatever this is has a defense called Swift and a defense called Incorporeal. Yeah?
Okay.
Which of those do you want to defeat?
Swift.
I mean, it sounds like you've kind of, because it took control of that staff, so maybe you forced it to become corporeal.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
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 Okay. And it will inflict harm as established on you, and the harm that a staff would do, I think, is it 1? No, you wouldn't know. I should know that. Take 1, mark 1 point of condition. I can't remember whether you're wearied or wounded yet, or whether that.
I'm wounded.
Oh, so next one down is dying.
Okay.
So quite a, jabs it very firmly at you, and opens maybe a wound you had it bursts open. But on a 10 plus, you also describe how you choose one of those other bullets. Overcome another defense if they still have one. They do. It's swift. Deflect their attack and take -1 harm. Aha. What are you thinking?
I will take its other defense.
Deflect the blow.
No.
Another defense. Oh, fine.
Yeah,
so,
the swift. Yeah.
Fine. So you pin it down corporeally here.
Right.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Out of the darkness steps the corporeal version of the spirit you saw up at the top.
Oh.
And right down to that clasp. And Osbert goes, "Ah, it's my brother." And Osbert rushes to embrace him. Beornoth, what do you do?
I'm going to drop the chicken I'm holding and grab Osbert by the back of his neck and yank him back out of the way.
Let's have you face danger to see how successfully you do that. That sounds like steel. Physicality.
I just want to draw his attention to he could always choose the not again move in such a situation.
Yeah, you could. When you confront them with the intention of protecting someone, say how this reminds you.
I don't think I'm confronting them. I think I'm just like keeping this guy out of the.
Just pushing him to one side, stopping him, getting up close to the creature. To the creature. Why am I calling it a creature? It's Badder, eldest son of this house. So yeah, let's have you roll to face danger then.
So that's 2d6 plus 2. That is a total of 9.
9. So on 7 plus you do it, but the fate chooses 1. You suffer 1 harm doing it. It takes longer than you'd hope. Respite is temporary at the risk. I think you take 1 harm doing it.
That's reasonable.
Because I think that what it does is when you grab hold of him, you've taken some knocks. And
yeah, that's my injured arm. And
yeah. Walden, what about you? But you have successfully restrained the naive heir. Walden, what about you?
I am going to peer at this creature, this spirit, this revisited Barda, looking corporeal when I have seen his ghost not so long ago. And I think he's sort of like, it's like a tug of war almost between him and Thrydwulf, right? On this staff kind of thing, right? And I would like to, step forward into the thing and then peer at him and look about me too.
Go ahead. Roll plus sense.
That is an 8.
Sorry, steal for you, because of course you are wily.
Yes, I think I've said that enough times that I'm going to stop saying it every time I roll.
So on an 8. So ask me a question, reveal a foe's weakness if they have one, or agree a detail to add to the scene.
I would like you to reveal a foe's weakness, because I haven't done that yet.
Yes. Okay. I think that you see the spirit recoil from the naive heir. And you put 2 and 2 together. The naive heir has he's wearing Thor's hammer as an indication of his faith in silver. And as he rushes towards the spirit, the now corporeal Bada, the Thor's hammer swings forward, and Bada recoils and lets go of Thrydwulf's staff.
Oh, as he gets yanked back, it swings forward out of his robes, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And Bada shies away from it. I can tell you that his weakness is silver.
Silver. Okay. Now, I think that my companions can follow my gaze over to the silver.
Oh
Beornoth
yeah, it's
may be
known.
aware of
It's
it.
known.
Because I think that what would be really cool is if one of us to snatch that from his neck and "Back, you foul beast," kind of in the name of Woden, I compel you.
Be gone, foul creature of the night. So Thrydwulf, I think you are Johnny on the spot. Beornoth has got the air by the scruff of the neck. This is all going on beside you as you get your staff back. You see the spirit of Bada recoil, and there, in slow motion, we see the silver hammer of Thor just going past your face like that. Are you tempted to grab at it?
Yes, I will snatch it off the heir's neck, as rude as that might be.
Let's have you face danger to see how well that goes. And again, I hate to say it, but unless you've got a better offer, that sounds like roll with steel or roll with something else with disadvantage. Or do you think that this is an act of faith that connects you to your gods? Roll plus soul? Take your pick. I'm thinking soul or steel would be flat rolls.
I think soul would work nicely.
Fine. Because it's almost like, Woden is just putting this in front of you just when you needed something silver.
Right. I think
Roll
it's
plus
a
soul.
sign.
It's a sign, indeed. And what a story this will make.
A 7.
Okay. On a 7, you've got it. But I think that you end up having to wrestle it away from the air. It's not instant. You grab at it, but you've got Beornoth pulling the boy back, and you are now got a hold of the hammer on a chain, and you're gonna have to kind of, you can get it next turn, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
That leaves Beornoth with the air in hand, you with a hammer that will shortly be yours to do what you will with, but that does create a space, Walden, if you want to do anything else.
I'm not sure what there is. I would like to a mortal NPC. I can't. I would like to confront it with my words. I think, as Thrydwulf brandishes that symbol, and his brother is there, his family. I would go, Bada. What your spirit walks the earth, condemned to be between worlds. You must rest. Go back whence you came. End your haunting of this village and your family.
That does sound like soul or subtle.
Yeah, I think I'll go with subtle.
Fine. So no faith behind it, but just confronting him with that. Let's have you go with that then.
I'm not reaching out for the spirits of the gods. I think I'm reaching out to his brother. Clearly loved him,
Fine.
Oof, but that goes as well as expected.
Oh my, okay.
But I do get to take an advance.
Well, good for you. There's every cloud. So he takes no notice of you, and it becomes clear why he is not particularly unhappy about being forced to manifest. Because I will invoke a power, which is to transform into a werebear. Beornoth, you can see, the kind of shoulders begin to kind of thicken and that grow up around the back of his neck as his head sinks into his shoulders, and he grows in scale. The chest broadens. The hands become great paws with claws. What do you do, Beornoth? You going to let go of the air, or what?
I think Beornoth is going to throw the air out of the building because he has no business being in this room. There has to be, I think Beornoth is just like going to, yeah, he's the one who's gonna like jump in and deal with this thing. But while we have this very brief moment where it's like mid transformation, I think Beornoth is going to probably I'm trying to think of what I want versus what Beornoth wants. I think Sam. I'm going to do what Sam wants to do in this moment, which is use the mechanical question. Is there anything that happens when my debts go below -3?
-3 is as low as it can go. At that point, you can no longer owe your god a debt, which will rule out some of the mechanics, unless you seek solace in friendship. And if I just show you at the basic moves, bottom right, row R, column R, row 31, seek solace in friendship. But to be honest, I think that's going to be tricky to do. So it can't go below -3. It's
okay. I was gonna try and look around and see if there was something that was like holding it here, or like a reason that it came back to this place, but it doesn't seem like that's really on the cards. So yeah, I think Beornoth is going to try and take advantage of this short period where it is not fully manifested to see if I can't get the drop on it, essentially.
Fine. I'm going to let you roll with advantage to confront it with steel.
Advantage didn't really do much, but that is a total of 6 + 2 is 8.
Wow. 2 1s and a 5. Dear me. Remember, I can't remember where your debt is, but you can help yourself by paying a debt to re-roll one of those dice if you wanted to get.
Well, I'm at -3, so
Okay,
I don't have any more debts. I don't have any more debts to spend.
I wasn't certain if you'd actually kind of ceilinged. So on a 7+, I will erase, because Tough Hide, of course, had regenerated in the time you've been away. At high pain threshold remains gone, because as he transforms, you can see that wound that you inflicted on him is still there. So I will erase Tough Hide, and then I think I will use his regenerate power to bring it back, because without that, once you've got rid of both his defenses, the next thing is to humble him. So Beornoth kind of does that. Thrydwulf, you have this heavy silver hammer of Thor. What do you do with it?
So I'm sorry, is Beornoth physically engaged with it at this point?
Yeah, I figured that I had like stepped past you or around you to take a swing at this thing.
Okay. I will stand near Beornoth, and whenever there's like a pause, I will kind of thrust
Okay,
to keep him away from attacking us.
okay, so let's have you do that. Now, are you whipping this around and hitting him with it, or are you trying to do, describe what you do and we'll work out which of your attributes makes most sense?
Oh, it's more like a cross to a vampire.
Begone, foul creature of the night. Fine.
Yeah.
That sounds like soul to me.
An 11.
Wow, you guys are nailing it now. So that will remove Tough Hide again. So again, he cowers away from the silver as you kind of force it into its face. I don't think it has an opportunity to flee. I think that then it will growl at you and force disadvantage on you. Kind of, because it springs back at you to frighten you. But on a 10+, you can also now do whatever it says on the 10+.
This is face danger, right? Under face danger.
Confront them.
Oh, confront. Whoops. Confront. And then you must overcome another defense, deflect their attack, and take -1 harm. Force them to. I will deflect any harm that it tries to do upon Beornoth.
Now this is in this exchange, so you're not subject to harm at the minute, so you're okay.
Right. To Beornoth. Any, like, if it tries to attack Beornoth,
Force them to where you gain advantage, because then you could hand the advantage off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So there's this bit where you frighten it, it goes to frighten you, and then you come back at it, and it cowers again. Walden, I haven't come to you for a moment. It now has no defenses.
Yes, I just wanted to ask a mechanical question.
Go ahead.
Could I take, as I can take as an advance, a move from an unused playbook? Would that include unused supernatural playbooks?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I mean, I actually want to take the priest's one about finding something useful when you need it. When Woden guides my my path, and sometimes I find things that I didn't know. But it just made me think like it'd be really cool to choose some of those things. But I think that I will.
Do you want to try to humble it?
Yeah, I'll try and humble it. We haven't seen that yet, have we?
Because it has no defenses currently.
Yeah. So I just I keep clicking on settlement when I'm trying to get to basic moves and then forgetting where I am because they're not next to the heroes tab.
We should move them about.
I can't.
Sorry, my fault.
Yeah.
So when you seek to end a confrontation with a foe that has no remaining defenses, say what you do and roll with the attribute the Fates agrees is most relevant.
I mean, again, what I'd like to do is to. You know what? Sorry, I'm just going to chop its head off.
So you're going to roll with steel to humble it.
Yeah. I was going to try again for the, listen to your brother and blah, blah, blah. But I think, the thought crosses Walden's mind and then he whips out his axe. Oof, that's only an 8.
My goodness.
But
hang on.
That is enough for someone to help.
I'm only seeing a 6. I'm seeing a 3 and a 1 plus 2.
Yeah, so that's 2d6 plus 2. Oh, that's weird. Wait, yeah, die 1 was 3 and die 2 was 4.
Right. I'm only seeing a 1. Doesn't matter. Okay. So on an 8, on a 7 plus, you humble them. And
no. I'm on 6 total. I need someone to help me to push.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. So on a 6, Beornoth, let me come to you. How do you think you could help?
I pick up this hammer that Thrydwulf's been brandishing around and just try and bash it in the face with it.
Fine. Let's have you roll to help another hero. So I think that's steel. Roll plus steel.
That is exactly a 7.
Oh, you guys, you just go from one extreme to the other. Add 1 to their roll. Your 6 becomes a 7, Walden. On a 7 plus, you humble them and they are at your mercy. Do they receive it or do you end them? If you spare the life of a supernatural NPC, they owe you a debt. If you spare that, well, that's all that matters here.
I
mean, you want to end them.
I think well, he was a ghost, then he was a skin changer. I don't know if I believe that he's that there is a life to spare here. You know what I mean? I think Walden thinks of it more as a putting down a rabid beast.
Fine.
And yeah, I will not spare the life of a supernatural creature.
How do you end this creature?
I think that and it howls and it rears back and Oshbert screams out, "Brother!" And then there's a whootunk, and that axe, and the head goes rolling to Osbert's feet, perhaps transforming back into that of a man.
It
as it
does,
rolls.
of course, transform back into the dead body of the elder brother.
Or can we have the head transform into it and
Oh.
the body stay the same?
Oh, yeah,
like,
no, yeah,
you know,
yeah. If you want to go with that, I'd go with that. Yeah. And I believe that you have ended the supernatural threat. There's still some mystery here, though. What's all this got to do with our wicked hunter or huntress, I suppose, if it's a she, her? Does anyone want to try and put the cherry on the cake?
Oh, my theory, I think, is that I forgot her name, the huntress.
So have I. Garwin.
Garwin. I think Garwin was the original werebear, and whether she had a relationship or merely desired the brother, transformed him as well to a werebear, and but for some reason he rebelled. She killed him. His spirit came back, but it still has that still had that werebear curse, and that's why it was both a spirit and a skin changer.
I was going to ask you to roll to look about you to create, but that is too good not to simply be true. And Garwin will never return now that she is an outlaw. Yeah? And I think that's probably the end of our adventures in Hrothford. I would like to just check in on the end of session experience. I know we're not coming back for session 3, but I do want to just check in. So I think Beornoth did indeed land the first blow on a dangerous foe. I think you did address the challenge with cunning. I'll be honest with you, Walden. And I think that certainly you addressed the challenge with knowledge, Thrydwulf, for what it's worth. But I wonder if you want to use the leaving moves. There is your weird is woven. When a hero walks out of history and into legend, or at the end of a one-shot or series where an epilogue seems appropriate, either simply describe the tale that will be told of them, or roll plus reputation plus 1 per standing, but we're not in that kind of ball game. So would you like to engage with the move, or do you just want to epilogue your way in terms of what we see next of these 3 characters? Beornoth?
I'm fine rolling some dice to kind of guide the epilogue.
Fine. So before we do that, do you see there's a weaving of your weird when you leave a settlement? Roll plus the debt it owes you that you erase. So I can't remember, did anybody in the settlement end up owing you a debt, Beornoth?
Not unless we managed to weasel something out of them after we protected them.
No, it's the kind of stuff that comes out of moves on me during play. So you are. So let's have you start by rolling. Hang on, get the right tab. Weaving your weird. Roll plus 0 then for you. I think we might have a debt in play somewhere, but I can't remember where it is.
That is a 10.
A 10 on 7+. Increase your reputation by 1. So you can increase your reputation to 1 from 0 as word spreads of your honorable actions. On 7 to 9, you don't need to worry about it. So that's fine and dandy. Let's have you then roll for your epilogue. Roll plus reputation, which is roll plus 1 now.
Good thing I had that. That's now a 7.
Okay, so have a look at what the weird is woven says, and I'll come back round to you to have you describe something. Yeah. Let's go next to Thrydwulf. Thrydwulf, let's have you weave your weird. Did Hrothford owe you any debts?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think you rolled well enough in your social interactions for the most part to get anything out of that. So let's have you roll plus 0 to weave your weird on leaving the settlement.
7.
On a 7+, increase your reputation by 1. But on 7 to 9, your tendency to talk about your part in events to the exclusion of all else alienates the other heroes, so you can't seek solace in friendship during the journey to the next settlement, which is kind of moot given the circumstances, but it would give you a chance to reduce the debt you owe your gods on the journey. We'd have a little bit of downtime action.
Okay.
So reputation has gone up by 1, so you're rolling the weird is woven roll +1.
8.
That's an 8. Again, have a look at the weird is woven, and you'll see there are some 10+ and some 6 minuses. 7 to 9 is a bit of both. Let's finally come to Walden. Did Hrothford end up owing you a debt?
They did, because of trying to rescue their hunters.
That's right. So let's have you roll +1 to weaving your weird.
That is a 10.
Isn't that nice? Made all the difference. 7+, increase your reputation by 1. You don't miss out on the seeking solace. You would be able to seek solace and reduce your debt to your god during the journey to the next village or settlement. But for now, that is just rolling. Your weird is woven +1.
Okay. My weird is woven +1.
Over there on column N.
On arriving and leaving.
Yep.
Yes. Oh yes, the weird is woven, yes. So per standing with, so it's just roll +1 reputation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what, I'll do it. It's kind of a one shot, why not? That's another 10.
There you go. So have a skim of that, and you'll see that on a 10+.
Oh, I know exactly.
The gardens are going to be rosy.
I know exactly what I'm doing. So yeah.
Let me go back round to Beornoth then. So you got a 7 to 9 on the weird is woven. So paint us a picture of what tales are told of Beornoth, the Hammer of the Gods.
I think that we get this this tale of a harried and hollow warrior who arrives at towns mysteriously, solves problems that they didn't know that they even had, and leaves a but every time he leaves, there's a shadow that passes through the town for a few days, that no one can really explain.
But they blame him. I like that. What about Thrydwulf's longer term weird? What is your fate, Thrydwulf? Because I think again you're on that 7 to 9.
Oh boy. Not quite sure.
Because, well, I tell you what, shall I go to Will and come back to you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Will, this is very straightforward. On 10+, you leave behind tales that describe you as a renowned hero. Which dream you said to have achieved, or what golden future is said to have awaited you, or what fear or nemesis do the tales say you put behind you or defeated?
Well, Garwen, the wicked skin-changing outlaw who flees from Hrothford, and now has the curse back upon her, and leaves a trail of the dead across the land, and over the course of many journeys and many tales and many other monsters who were not Garwen who stumbled in his path, Walden the Arrow finally found his target.
Like that. It's practically Beowulf. So a different wolf, Thrydwulf. Pick something on the 10+, pick something on the 6-. Tell us a tale.
We think a storyteller could tell a tale.
You've told some great tales in these sessions.
Thank you. With this one though, I'm a little stuck. All right. I think the tales that they would have told about Thrydwulf was that that he was, I guess his future is bright as a bard in telling tales. Oh, I'm trying to think of something good.
But dot dot
But
dot.
but right, I think having unearthed the whole tale about the huntress and the elder son, that he's also someone who, if you have dark secrets, keep them hidden from him. Don't talk to him, or else he might make a song of it.
Little loose-lipped. Fine,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so if we could do a quick stars and wishes now, I'd be grateful. I'd be equally grateful. I mean, if you have the time, if I sent you a short feedback form and just asked for some views of the sessions. But let's do a straightforward stars and wishes first. So let me keep going on the right to left. So let's start. Rod, any stars?
Yeah, well, I thought the characters were brilliant and worked very well together, despite having been, very different personalities, different character playbooks. It just, everything just gelled very nicely. I love the location moves, and that idea that coming and going, you really feel the sense that there's something attached to it mechanically, as well as story wise. I love the building of the settlement.
Anything better if?
I don't. Nothing is coming to mind.
That's
if
fine.
I think of something, I'll jump back in.
Appreciate it. Let's go. Will, any stars? Any better ifs?
Yeah, I really enjoyed all of it. I thought we had a nice little dynamic between the three of us. The loony muscle, the talkative storyteller, and the mercenary hunter. And I really enjoyed hunting a monster and fighting it and resolving it. And I enjoyed that we didn't find Gawain, that she wandered off into it. And I really enjoyed being able to roll a 10+ on the pursuing
to
her.
tell the story.
Yeah. If I'd rolled a 7 to 9, it would have been I pursue, but she infects Walden the wolf now, right? But yeah. I like the word moves. I think I prefer the way that the when your gods are debt works now. I always found it a little bit of we got bogged down in it every time it came up. I think in last, even as we ran with it, it always became a bit of an economy of but how much here and how much there and what there. I think this way is easier, better. I guess I need to see it in longer play to kind of work out how it goes with all the other debts and the settlement debts and things like that. I think that maybe mechanically, or maybe it's something for the players fictionally, but debts from the village and other things could be more generous, perhaps, to make that a mechanic that you can actually interact with in because I got that debt there for the Hrothford, and there was points where I was like, well, depending how the scene goes, I'll call in an NPC from the settlement to help me in a scene, right? Because the witch appears or whatever, right? But that was my one debt, and then I would have entered the weaving my weird, my legend without any debts, even though we'd done quite a lot to actually help out the village. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perhaps a debt from the settlement could be part of an end of session question.
So yeah, that maybe
I don't know.
Maybe
you know what I mean? Something to provide the currency.
You ought to end up being owed a debt, come what may.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something about that. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Thank you. And finally, Sam, any stars, any better ifs?
I had a great time. I really enjoyed this kind of relationship that we all had. The big finale with the fighting this werebear in this tiny little hut was very fun. Where the chase on the leading it into a bog was a very fun scene, and I really enjoyed that. Better ifs. I think the only like mechanical thing that I kind of like bumped up on was the amount of debts that I ended up owing for using the gifts.
Yeah.
Especially with one that's as like, hey, you should use this all the time. And like, we're constantly hunting supernatural things. So I'm constantly looking for supernatural things, and I constantly need to look for things that are happening. And so that ended up basically meaning I couldn't help myself at the end when I needed to. And I don't know if, because there are a lot of systems that have an idea like that, but instead of owing a debt, it's like you automatically have a failure, or there's some worse aspect when you fail, kind of a thing that might work.
Yeah, I'll be
those are
honest
all-
with you. Yeah, I mean, if you check out the debt moves, there are a number of things that I can do to you to erase a debt. And I did think about forcing a failure on you, or forcing you to roll a disadvantage. But there were a couple of times when things were not going well, and I got a bit twitchy about it. I think that probably in a 3 or 4 shot, there'd be some scope for you to invoke the seeking solace in friendship, and that would knock the debt down, but give you something else to run with. So, but yeah, there's something about that in a short form that isn't quite right. I get that.
Isn't assert your free will the move as well to get rid of debts to gods?
Yes, that's true. There is assert your free will. Yeah. Sorry, I'd forgotten about that.
I don't think that we. Oh,
You
there it
didn't-
is.
You didn't engage with that one. And that perhaps is something I should have pointed out.
That's the invoking temptations. Okay.
Yeah, because exactly. So you end up with a temptation that gives you some benefits and costs, but you've got the headroom in your debts to God.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think I should have pointed at you at that when you were getting up into once you got to 2. But I'll be honest with you, it just went by me. Because I was more focused on the combat move, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know if this will help at all, but one of the things that has helped me when I'm designing games is like, I'll make a list of like, here are all the moves that increase your debt. Here are all the moves that reduce your debt, and put it on the character sheet. So like, if you need to reduce your debt, here are all the things you can do. That's
a clever thing. And it is a clever thing.
Especially when you end up with so many moves, it's really nice to be able to say, okay, well, I need to, I've got a bunch of harm. How do I clear harm? Okay, these are the 4 things that I can look to clear out.
That is clever. And we'll probably be here in time for next week's next 2-shot. So thank you for that, Sam. It's really helpful. Thank you. In terms of stars from me, Rod, I am slightly concerned at how much cognitive load the moves put on the storyteller. Tell us a story then, if you want that advantage. But despite that, I thought you kept coming up with them. So the fact that you at the end there were saying, I'm kind of out of interesting stories to tell about my future. I think that there's too much load on the player in some of those moves as I speak now. But I love Thrydwulf, always rolling with the failure. Walden the Arrow, the mercenary bit. There's no money, but somehow there needs to be some way to reward the truly mercenary character. But yeah, I was really pleased you got to use dig a pit. I literally ended up with a pit. And Beornoth, it is I think it's an interesting spin on the hammer, who is not the overtly, kill machine, violent, resorts to violence, but actually, you know, it's not a default. So I was really pleased to see you rolling with some other, you know, going with some other approaches. So that was all great. In terms of better ifs, I think assert your free will, that, you know, I'm now kind of saying idiot. But it'll come to it, you know, because I've shuffled a lot of the deck moves around from a previous version. I've lost track of that one. So I will simply end by thanking you, and I'll end the recording. So wave bye-bye to the internet.